hopefully we're back. Just going to go and check that we are back because suddenly it dropped out again. We are back. Right, someone left a comment. Okay, that's fine. Let me, I'm here, I'm just not here, if you see what I mean. It's live now. It's live, no it's not. Live. Refresh. I am here, I'm just checking on my laptop to make sure. There are people here. For some reason I can't find the video over on my laptop. But anywho, sorry about that. It seems to be the way it goes. I manage about 4 minutes and suddenly it drops out. The signal's great. The signal is actually running really well. So I was talking about the weather here. So we live in a bowl. So the highest hills we have are not that high, but we do live in this bowl. And if you're in the UK, quite often over the winter, we will get a weather report that says, and the coldest place in the UK today was, and it's RAF Benson. Now, RAF Benson is about 5 or 10 miles from us, and it's in the same bowl. So we get the very coldest weather in the middle of the winter, and we get, if there's not a breeze, we get quite warm weather in this bowl because it all stays in the bowl. So we do have really nice hot weather, and this week it's going to be in the mid-30s. Today it's supposed to be about 26, 27, but by Thursday we're looking at the mid-30s, so it's going to be quite warm. We're going to meet up socially distanced with some very good friends of ours who live down in London, and they're coming up, and the plan is that we go wild swimming, or what in every other country would be called swimming, but it means we're going to be swimming in open water. We do it safely, we're not silly. We do try and have at least one person on the bank at any one time. It's going to have to be really warm for me to swim because the rivers at the moment are still quite cool because it is only June. But anyway, so that is one of my plans for this week, which means I am tearing around like a mad thing to get everything ready so I can take Thursday off. I did work quite a lot this weekend to try and get ahead, and then I suddenly realised I had 3 things I needed to do today. So I've done my early morning post, which is all about adhesive. If you haven't watched it, I was stunned. So I posted last week, back end of last week, that I was going to do a review of all the adhesives. So the 2 new adhesives, so Seal and Seal Plus, and I was pitching them against Snail, which has obviously retired, glue and tear and tape. And yesterday I recorded the video for that, for the review, and I was surprised. I was very surprised. Not in a bad way, but I was surprised. So do have a look at today's video because I think you'll find it interesting, hopefully. Thank you, Wendy. She has obviously seen it. I was stunned, and I was genuinely, for some of them, I was genuinely fighting to pull them to pieces. These are all the boxes that I destroyed in Retired Lemon Lime Twist. And some of them, I don't know whether it's I think it's an RSI, repetitive strain injury thing from typing too much and not being careful about how I do it. So my thumbs here have a soft tissue damage, and I was really struggling to pull them apart, some of them. It was amazing. I'm glad you found it interesting, Audrey. It was eye-opening. Anyhow, so if you haven't watched it, please go and watch it. You may have seen the post that hi Nora, sorry I dropped out. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this one stays. We're doing this juggle at the moment between we use my phone, which gets a better signal, it gives a better video for you to watch and for it to go back on YouTube, but it's not as stable. if I use my webcam, it's really stable, but it's not a great video. And I that, but I'm going to be working on it. I'm on my 4th webcam now, and I really can't send another one back, so I'm just going to have to go with what I've got. What was quite interesting about the last one is that it's supposed to have a fixed focus, and it didn't. And it's probably me. I just need to have some time to play, probably in the winter when the weather's not so nice. But anyway, so if you spotted my post earlier, I did have a request to do some stuff with the Whale of a Time suite. I don't have, what don't I have? The embossing folder, and I'm regretting it. I will be ordering it. Lemon lime twist was one of my favourites as well, Jane. Oh, and while I remember, I don't know if any of you watched the live draw I did for last week's prize, but Jane, you won it. So Jane Peters has won the... Have I gone again? Someone says I've gone again. Can you give me some thumbs ups and comments to let me know that I'm still here? Because I've just been told that I've gone again. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still here. I'll check my laptop. Okay, that's fine. I'm glad I'm good. In which case, Wendy, March, not you, not me, you. That is one of the things that we do need to remember, that just because... So Jane, just send me an email just confirming your address. I have got an address on file, but can you just confirm it and then I can get it off to you? So yes, just a reminder. Actually, let's do some housekeeping. So this is a Facebook Live. It is Tuesday the 23rd of June, and there is a live button there that makes it clear that we're live. If you're watching this, and yes, Wendy, I think it is you, if when you're watching this there is no live button up there, then it's a replay of the live video. If you're on YouTube, it's a replay. It's not live. I've been saying this for some weeks now, and I still get comments, particularly on YouTube, that say, I don't know if I'm watching live or not. If you're on YouTube, this is not live, this is a recording. So I have drawn the prize from 2 weeks ago. I am still short of some addresses for previous winners. Wendy Little Child, I need your address. Jane Peters, again, please confirm. Thank you, because you also won the journal. So I've still got that tucked away. Now, if you are overseas, then I will give you a choice of digital product instead, because the postage is just ridiculous. So yes, Whale of a Time. So we're doing Whale of a Time. I am going to get the embossing folder because I stupidly forgot to order it. And then I saw some beautiful projects and they've used the embossing folder. But we're still going to have a play. Still going to have a play, and it's all going to be Whale of a Time. And I'm going to be doing glitter paper as well, because we've got the new glimmer paper. And I think it's a little challenging because it's not one colour. Anyway, enough of that. I will flip the camera. So it's going to be a bit rough for a while. And then I won't be able to see your comments as well. I'll do my best. But let's get some lights on. Always a plan. And then I will flip the camera. I'm going to be kind of making up... Well, Jane, clearly you do win prizes. Certainly when they're mine. So I'll flip the camera and then we'll get started. I am making up as we go along, but I've got some ideas. So this could be interesting. Okay, so here we go. You're going to get the ceiling. I'll do it as close. See, I've even got my top windows open. Oh, I have to tell you, it was funny yesterday. Some of you will know that we have 3 cats, And let me just press that. Oh gosh, that's almost worked. Let me just move that a wee bit. It's a little bit crooked. Let me straighten up just a wee bit more. I'm nearly there. There we go. So yes, we have 3 cats. One in particular, my boy, I call him my boy, is very demanding. He's lovely, but he is very demanding. And he put his head through the top window yesterday because it was open, and there was this meow, meow, because he wanted to be down with me. And I did point out that the door was open, so the next thing I knew, he was down with me. Jacqueline, you're never late. No one is ever late, and you can always watch the beginning on replay. We've only just really started. So let me give you a quick trot through the paper because it is gorgeous. Let me pop that to one side because I have got one card ready to go, and the rest will be made up as I go along. So you get, it's 6 by 6. I was quite surprised it was 6 by 6. When I first saw it, I was expecting it to be large, but hey. So double-sided, lots of shoals of fishes, seaweed. I love this. We'll be using this one in a moment. Whales, obviously, and little fishes. Sea. I do love that scallop. Jellyfish. Not overly keen on jellyfish, but okay. Seahorses. Now, did you see my card earlier this week? Was it earlier this week? Can't remember. Did you see this one I did with the Seaside Notions? Works so nicely. Oh, I've just realised I've lied on my... Oh, no, I haven't. I sort of have lied on my spot challenge video, which is out later. Never mind. I'll come back to that. Anyway, that was... I used the seahorse from that. There is a seahorse in this stamp set, but it's smaller, so it does work quite well with the Seaside Notions, just so you know. You don't waste so much when wanting a bit of 12. Well, you see, I don't think that cutting into 12 by 12 is a waste, because I scrapbook. But anyway, I have a bit of an issue with 6 by 6 because if I want a full card front, then I've got this stupid little bit left, which is why I'm doing quite a lot of cards at the moment with 3-inch wide strips, so I can get 2 out of one sheet of 6 by 6. But I guess it's just, you know, different people think in different ways. So, and that's also got sea on the back. We've got turtles and seaweed and crabs and more whales with this interesting pattern on the back. And no, I was about to change my mind on something and I haven't. A shoal of turtles. Doesn't this just remind you of Finding Nemo? That's a bit of everything with splodges on the back. Oh, and the back of our Finding Nemo is green seaweed. And this, which is the one we're going to be using first. So those are the papers. You get 48 sheets, 4 of each pattern, and I think they are just gorgeous. Now, the colour palette is huge and doesn't include one of the, well, 2 of the colours that I assumed it did. So here we go. Shaded Spruce. This is in reverse alphabetical order because I pulled them out in alphabetical order. So Shaded Spruce, Pretty Peacock, Pool Party, Pacific Point, haven't used that in a long while, Just Jade, Granny Apple Green, Calypso Coral, Bumblebee, Blackberry Bliss, Balmy Blue. Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy? Nah. Those were the ones I was expecting to be in there, but they're not. So, the first thing I just want to show you is the punch, because I think this may be quite confusing for some people. So I have punched it in Misty Moonlight and then in 4 other colours. So this is how you put it together. So you've got this spout, the fin, or fin. I was going to say arm. It's not an arm. It's a fin. And then this bit is underneath. Now you've got, in the stamp set, the No, it's not in this, is it? It's in Seaside Notions, which works quite nicely, as I say, with this. So if we bring in Seaside Notions as well, you can use this to go on the top of your whale. But as I say, I think Seaside Notions works really well with it. It's got bigger imagery. So I think those two together, if you've got this, I wouldn't say don't use this or don't get this. I would say use them together. I think it extends the life of Seaside Notions. That's just me, of course. So, yes. Oh, and there was something else I was going to show you, but we'll do that later. Okay, so first card. Flipper, that's the word. You just know that I don't remember these things. They are lovely pages, I think. Your granddaughter will pinch them. Possibly, possibly. But I don't think we have to think children. As a lot of you will know, I love children. Couldn't eat a whole one. I don't have children. I do like children, but don't do children. Okay, so I'm going to cut this beautiful piece of paper. Did I say I'm going to use that one? Am I? Yeah, I'll use that one. Okay, so I'm going to cut this to my usual measurements. Actually, I might trim a bit off the bottom as well, just because I want this piece to be further towards the bottom. So I'm just going to trim half an inch, quarter of an inch off the bottom. And I will save this because I'm sure I can find something to use it for. I end up with lots of little scraps in my pattern paper packs, and then I'm going to cut it at 3 7/8, and I can't decide which side to trim. That side, I think, or I might do a quarter of an inch off each side. I used to be indecisive, and now I just hack. Okay, so that is the paper that I'm going to be using. So this is where I say, if you're making a card, now it may be different if you're using 8.5 by 11, but if you're doing International A4, you end up with these silly little bits left over, which I just find annoying. Whereas if you're cutting into 12 by 12 sheet, you get 6 quite nice size pieces and some decent lengths of leftover. Oh, I've cut that the wrong size. Oh, never mind. It's going to be fine. It'll be fine. I just need to trim one other bit. I've cut it I've cut one length, one side, one for one of my measurements and one for one of the others. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. We will just add a layer. Now, what colour layer shall I add? We've got such a choice. This is Balmy Blue, by the way. I think I might go just Jade. Or shall I go Pretty Peacock? So, I think I'm going to go Pretty Peacock. I think I am going to go Pretty Peacock. That large scrap would be a bookmark. Yeah, I don't do bookmarks. But yes, hey. Right, so the first thing I need to do is stick this to this. Now, I'm going to use seal. And I'm going to use more than you think I need. And there is method in my madness. Now, one of the things with seal is I do find that sometimes you have to just wind it on a bit. I think I just need to know the knack, and I haven't got it yet. I'm tempted to do the fast fuse flick, because otherwise you do get a string, and I'll try and show you what I mean. So you get a string. I don't know if you saw that. But yes, you can end up with a string, which is not as bad as fast fuse was, but for stringing, I mean. So as I say, I'm using more than I really need, but there is method in my madness. So, Now this is just seal, but it does come off, particularly if you haven't stuck it down fully. Oh, it's a bit better. It's not brilliant, but anyway. Okay, and then I am going to stick it to my card front. And again, I'm going to use more than you might think I need. But there is method in my madness. Honest gov, there is. And I'm going to stick the inside piece on. I'm going to use a more sensible amount of seal for this. Let's say I need to get the knack. Once you've got some down, it's very easy to then use that as the kind of lead for your next piece. But I do need to get the knack. And I haven't yet. Okay, right. Now, before I fold that, I am going to bring in one of the labels from the Tasteful Labels, Touches of Labels, Tasteful Labels set, which goes with Touches of Texture. And I am going to die cut that out. Now it is going to take, sorry, that's me just wheeling my thing across. This is going to take a few runs through the machine, but bear with me. That's where it's going, but I've kept it flat for an obvious reason, because I don't actually want to hole through the whole of the card, just through the front. It would have been easier had I not put an extra layer of card on, but it's gonna be fine, she says with her fingers firmly crossed. Okay. Ooh. So I'll run that backwards and forwards a couple of times, and hopefully that has gone through, or not. So let me just run it through the other way. Ooh. Let me just drop the die. No, I do need to go through again. You see, what I'm trying to do is cut this out, and it's not come through yet. So it's because I put the Pretty Peacock layer in as well. So you're now having a lovely view of my grid paper. This may or may not work. I may have to cut into the other piece of paper. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to cut into the other piece of paper because this is not going to come out. Ooh, maybe I can. You see, you get it as it comes with me. If I... See, seal works quite well. Hurrah! Okay, so hopefully I can just cut through this piece now. Hopefully. If this doesn't work, I'll just try it again with another piece of paper. Yes, yes. It's going to be good enough anyway. Yes, there we go. Because I don't actually need that bit. Phew! Phew! You're still there. That large scrap could be... Oh, that's where we were. That was the last comment. Okay, so I'm just going to trim. So, learn from my mistake. Don't try and die cut through 2 layers of card and a piece of designer series paper. It's not going to work. But what will work is we can then layer that. So what we're going to do is fold our card, and then we're going to pop this in there just onto the inside of the card. Hi, Carol. Glad you're still here. because I was beginning to wonder. You kind of knew, didn't you? Right, so that's the one I don't want to put that on. Right, so silicone matte, purely because it's got stick on the back now. And I've got my sentiment, which is going to be interesting to stamp onto something that's slightly bent. And I've also got some little fishes, but the first thing I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment. And it's helped the colour choice because I've got Pretty Peacock as my matte. So I might as well use Pretty Peacock as my ink for the sentiment. Now this is the first time I have used this stamp set, so I should probably be prepping my stamps, but actually that's worked really well. So that's all right. Now, I've also got the little fishes, which I will just rub to make sure that they don't have the film on. And those I'm going to do in Calypso Coral and second generation Calypso Coral. So we've got our little fishes. So we're going to have some there and some there, and then some there, and I just want to grab a scrap piece of paper because I want second generation without an edge. For those bits. Right, so that is that piece. See, this is where I'm not sure that this is for children. My love for you is bigger than the ocean. Maybe for a child giving a parent, I don't know. But I'm thinking, thank you, Nora. So do remember, if you share, you get entered into the draw. And I will show you what this week's prize is in a moment. Right, some more seal. You can see where the seal is because it's dark on the card. But let's pop some more down, just to be on the safe side. And just blow that and lay that in to our... So that then sits in there. And that is basically our card done. I have now got, if I can find them, where have I put them? I've hidden them so well I can't see them. I have got somewhere the new sequins. Oh, there they are. So here are the new, these are Whale of a Time sequins, which are gorgeous. I'm just going to get this and sprinkle some out so you can see. We've got what I would call ordinary sequins, but we've also got these seashells. So these would make great shaker cards, obviously. And being sequins, they attach themselves to everything. So a lot of them are iridescent. So what I thought we could do is find my liquid glue and add a few of these in strategic places. So what I tend to do when I'm adding sequins, I use my multi-purpose liquid glue, but what I like to do is pop the glue down and then let it rest for a while before I add the sequin, because it needs to start being tacky. I need to remember where I've put them as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do 5 to begin with. So here we go. So let's try one of these shells, preferably without a sequin attached. Ooh, it's determinedly attaching itself to a sequin. There we go. So that's that. You're going to attach yourself. If I hold it down with my I like using this to hold things down with. Then we can have an ordinary sequin, ironed. Let's have a small dark one. Pop that there. And again, let's just pop those down with the other end. Then I've got one up there. What have we got? Let's have another lighter one. And then one just there. And we'll have another, we'll have one of those. That's an interesting shade. And there we go. So that is our first card. So it's, as I say, I'm not sure that it's just for children. I think the punch is probably more childlike than not, but the rest of it, I'm not so sure. Right, so that's that one card down. So let's have a look, which was the other. So this paper I thought we would use, and I was going to see if I could do something a bit classy with that. So this is Pacific Point, so I'm going to grab some Pacific Point cardstock, which, as I say, I have not used in ages. So there we are, Pacific Point, and I'm going to do I'm going to fold it as well. No, I'm not going to fold it like that. I'm going to cut it in half this way, and there is a little bit of method in my madness. Only a little, you understand. Oops, sorry, jogged the... Right, so halfway is 10.5. So that's the first score. And then I want 5¼ centimetres. Now this is weird, I know, because I work in both metric and imperial, but just go with it. That's just me. So what I'm going to do is a fold back card with a slight difference. So that's that. I want a white inner, just so that we've got something to write on. And then I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go, Calypso Coral. That's what I think I'm going to do. That is Calypso Coral, isn't it? Yes. Yes. Calypso Coral and Terracotta Tile are not a million miles apart from each other, so I do like to check. So this is going to go here, and is basically going to be where our card starts and finishes. And I may put a piece of Designer Series paper down that way. May not. Anyway, first thing I want to do, because of the way I'm going to do this, is I need to decorate this and then stick it down. So to decorate it, I thought I would grab the seaweed. And I need to pop that back. And I need to pop the other one back. So the other piece of seaweed is there. And we've got seaweed and coral. So let's grab the coral as well. Let's do that for the moment. Right, so seaweed, in fact, no. Seaweed, seaweed and coral. So, surprise, surprise, I'm going to just change this after we've finished. So I'm going to start with some coral. Now, I know I say this quite often, but I'm going to say it again. If I was to stamp this again, I would end up with, and stamp it up, well, I'll show you. That's the problem. So if you want to do second generation and you're not reducing the amount of the stamp, you need to stamp off. So I'm going to come in there. If I was to do second generation, so first generation, second generation, I don't need to re-ink. Does that make sense? I know I do say that quite a lot, but I think sometimes it's easier to actually see it. So that's our coral. That's a very badly cleaned stamp. That's better. Then I think I'm going to go Pool Party and Just Jade for my seaweed, which I know sounds a little odd, but I don't think it actually is as odd as it sounds. So let's get rid of Calypso Coral. And I'm going to go Just Jade for the largest one, larger one. And just going to kind of nestle that there, and then again stamp it again. So that's that. And then for the, sorry, I keep hitting the gooseneck. And then Pool Party. There and there. So just a bit of something, because that is going to be quite exposed when we've finished the card. Right, I've got to cut my lovely paper. Let's see if I can cut it to the right size. Be novel, wouldn't it? I'm now bumping into my big shot. Can't wait for our new die cutters to arrive. Not long now. Demonstrators get to order them in August. Yay! And we get a discount. Yay! Just saying. Okay, so I'm going to do that and not even think about it. And then I'm going to do the right size. Let's think. So that's that. That I'm going to do that size then. I will have the dimensions over on my blog later this week. See, funny little scraps again. Hey ho. Right. So that's that. The first thing I need to adhere, now that I've stamped it, is this. So I'm actually going to use glue. I could use seal, but I'm going to use glue. And for once, I'm actually putting the adhesive on the white. I normally put it on the... Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to go onto my base card. It does make a bit of a difference. You don't get kind of ridge in your adhesive if you do it this way. It does help if you then wibble, so you spread it out a bit so you don't have a definite line. And this then goes in, and because it's wet glue, you've got wiggle room like that. The next thing I'm going to adhere is this piece, because that is basically the same size as the piece we've got underneath. So that's going to cover it up when you're looking at it face on. But what I want to do is that, and with my take a pick, I'm just going to draw a line down, which I can see. You may not be able to, but I can see that. So I now know that that's where I've got to line up to, and not go over with my adhesive. So let's add some adhesive on that. And again, this, you definitely want that wiggle room. Well, you do if you're doing it live. So I'm going to hold that piece. I'm going to line up there. And this is where 3 pairs of hands would be lovely. And do that. Now, I have got a wee bit of wiggle room because it's liquid adhesive. So if anything looks too off, I do have the chance to sort it out. But there we are. So that is beautifully over there. This then goes on top of here. And I'm going to use seal. And I think seal is good enough that you don't need to go all of the way round if you don't want to. I definitely would do the top and the bottom, but I think you could get away with just the sides. So I'm going to try, and if it goes wrong, it's my fault. And so that's that. Right, so I need a scrap of Whisper White, which will be in my Whisper White scrap drawer. And I want my whale and that sentiment. So let me D-block, I think. And, oh, I've got my C block without a stamp on, so let's use that. So I am going to prepare this because it's got a lot of just flat surface. So just with a white, good quality white eraser, and by good quality I mean, you know, just something that's not manky. Just do that, then clean it. And that means you've now got a key on your photopolymer. I know I keep saying this, but they use a release spray, and it's better if you have the get the release spray off. So I was just looking at something else as I was doing that, and what I wanted to look at was some of the whales to see what colour I might do them. See, that's almost grey. I think this might be a sponge dauber job. So let me grab my daubers, which I have in my thing, my dauber box. Ooh, and I haven't got a Pacific Point. Let's sort that out. Oh, that's Blackberry Bliss apparently. Okay, let's grab a new sponge dauber. Luckily I ordered some more. So we'll have this as Pacific Point. I know I'm sad, aren't I? And then I think I'm tempted to go Blackberry Bliss, and let's think. So Blackberry Bliss, and I want something paler. Possibly Pool Party. So Subtles Pool Party is that one. Right, okay, here we go. Eyes down for Full House and all that. Doing sponge daubering on photopolymer is not quite as successful as it is on red rubber, but it's okay. So I've got Pacific Point, Blackberry Bliss and Pool Party. So always work from the dark to the light. Sorry, I mean from the light to the dark. It's sad. So Pool Party, I'm going to have down at the bottom here. In fact, I'm almost tempted to do that with my Pool Party, so that I know I've got a good covering. And then Specific Point. This is a new sponge dauber, so it needs a bit of help. And then Blackberry Bliss. Where did you get the dauber box? I got it from Hobbycraft. Are you in the UK? Yes, you are. Yeah, I got it from Hobbycraft. It came empty. I can't remember what it was meant for, but yeah. Hobbycraft, who I think are now open, but I'm only saying that under my breath. Right, this is going to be an interesting colour. but you know, who cares? There we go. One interestingly coloured whale, but I think it's more interesting to have it coloured than a flat colour. Now, I am just cleaning this. Because Blackberry Bliss is basically a red, it's going to stain my stamp. It is going to stain it, not spoil it. So if I take this and stamp it again, it's clean, it's just stained. So that's that. I need to feed that into my punch. Up. So that's my whale. I then need to stamp this, and I think I'm going to go Blackberry Bliss, and then I'm going to introduce some glimmer paper. So you're kind of a big deal. And that's it cleaned. Now, I would always say when you're using a red, go as quickly as possible to clean, because that way you are going to reduce the staining. Right, so this is where I'm going to bring this in. And this is why I think this is kind of challenging, because it is beautifully rainbowed. I want this, because I want these sort of colours. So that's easy. All I need to do is grab, you could die cut it as well, but as I've got my punches here, I'm going to use my punches. So I'm going to punch with the starburst punch, and I'm just going to come in here and just punch. So that's that. And then if I was doing something with other colours, I can just go in here, or you could just use strips. But I think just look at it as individual colour bands rather than as the whole piece, because there's a whole piece. It is quite challenging. So that's that. I need my 2-inch circle punch for this. And this, I know that's not central. That is deliberate. And this is not going to be a cheap card to post. Just saying. Ooh, I wonder. I haven't tried this. I was going to stick it on with dimensionals, and then I wondered. This is Seal Plus. I wonder if Seal Plus will stick to Glimmer Card. Now, do I want it? I'm going to just bring in. I think I possibly want it the same shades as the whale. It sticks! I think I could pull it apart, but I think it basically sticks. Woohoo! Goodie! Right, dimensionals. So, dimensionals for the back of this. Probably could have got away with 3, but I'm going to use 4. Definitely don't need 5. And pull that up. Come on. Yep, that's all of them off. So you're kind of a big deal. Goes there. And then our whale is going to go there. So I need a dimensional at the top. And it needs to be as far to the top as possible. And then you can either use a half dimensional, as in a mini, or as in a half, or a mini, or a couple of minis. And then just for the sake of having some adhesive. Now, the thing with Seal Plus is that if it goes over the edge, just flip it in. I could have used liquid adhesive. I could have used Seal. I cut my fingernails and they're not as useful as they used to be. There we go. And I've just had a thought. I have just had a thought. If I can find it in this tip I call my desk, I did actually tidy up. I know, strange. I had a nice new wink of Stella. And I've put it down somewhere really safe. Okay, let's open another nice new wink of Stella. I'll find it when I open this one. I still haven't found the old top to my take your pick tool, but I have found my sticky scissors. So, right, this is actually quite useful because I can show you how to prep your wink of Stella. So it comes with this black band, which you want to get rid of. That is rubbish. And then you just turn that until it's right back on. Give it a shake. Give it a squeeze. This is pretty much the only time you should need to squeeze it. Whoops, too much. It's all right. It's fine. It'll be fine. It will be fine. That's what not to do. And then I can just add a bit of wink of Stella to my whale. Now it will move the ink around, so you do want either to go light to dark or have a cloth or piece of kitchen paper handy to clean off the brush. And I don't even mind that I'm going over the edge. And then to make it even more glistening, you can then do that, which I quite like as a look. So that is our second card. Ba-ching, ba-ching. So I think that's quite pretty. And this is that, can you see that just little hint? It's not really catching the light terribly well, but a little hint of glimmer. And it goes with this was pure fluke, by the way. Honestly, it was pure fluke that I got the colours in pretty much the same order. So, right, what next? Let me see. What stamps haven't we used out of this stamp set? I'm not using that. I'm sorry. It's not happening. Helping all your birthday fishes. Thanks and well done. Thanks a ton. I quite fancy using that. Or actually, oh, and this is going to make me cringe, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to use our real piece of dory, Finding Nemo. Right, so let me see. I am going to cut this down to, I think I'll make this a card front size. So we're going to go, actually I want that side, 3 7/8. And that way. And, oh, we might as well go, because I've got it, Pacific Point. So I just want to score that as we've got Pacific Point out. This will be quite a quick card. Famous last words. So let's fold that bone folder. Preferred the second paper to the first. You mean you preferred this one to this one? Or this one to this one? Do you mean the turtle papers, Audrey, or do you mean... I'm confused. Doesn't take much. Anyway, we're going to use this one as well. So, whichever one it is, we're going to use both. Okay, so just some, oops, seal. I'm going to get this sorted out in my head, how to do it without having to wind it on, if it kills me. And it probably will. And as I say, I'm not going to go all the way. So it was the turtles. You prefer, oops, sticking myself to the... I do like this. I like all of the papers, actually. And I think, so I want one of these. So I think I'm going to go... Why do they have to be in the middle of the paper? Never mind. Actually, I'm going to go that way. You know me, I like a bit of fussy cutting. So, oops, sorry, I've juggled that again. I keep forgetting that it's there. Most of the week it's not. It's only on a Tuesday that I have my gooseneck stand out. These are actually really easy to fussy cut because they're basically just, you know, there's no ins and outs. They're just an outline. Wouldn't think about fussy cutting the jellyfish or the coral, but the turtles and the whales, really easy. Ooh, I've just had a thought. I've just had a thought, and I will moment. I'll finish this card and then I will try and remember that I had a thought. If when I go, what was I going to do? Can you just remind me that I had a thought? Because I have a thought. Actually, that I think goes in there. That's better. I love this paper. I really didn't think I was going to like it. I honestly, when I saw it, and you can tell I'm concentrating because I've gone quiet. Right, so those are our two foibles. I'm tempted to stamp one on the background as well. So let's clear one of my blocks. And I think I might go Blackberry Bliss. I'm never quite sure about stamping on designer series paper because it has a bit of a finish, but if you go for a dark colour, I think it's probably okay. So let's go there. And what I might do when that's dry is something else. Right, let me just grab something. And you may think I'm going to be going mad, but I think it might work. So I'm going to leave that to dry whilst I pop these on. I think that's just so sweet. And I am going to use quite a few dimensionals because these are only paper. So I'm going to use more than I would probably normally, although saying that, there's not much more I can put on there. This one's probably more of an overload. Nah, just there. Right, so oh wow, That sounds fun, Audrey. So I'll have that one there, and this one we'll have there, and this is either going to work or go horribly wrong, but I'm hoping it's going to work. Not too bad. That's actually coming out almost granny apple green, so that's fine. It goes. So this is Light Mango Melody. And I wonder what this one's going to do for us. Let me try. I'm going to have a little practice. Just a little practice. Oh, that works. Actually, I might try the light one rather than the dark, because the dark one... Ooh, let's throw it on the floor, why don't I? So this is Light Calypso Coral. I was just thinking, because it just looks like it's translucent otherwise, because the background's coming through. Actually, dark Calypso Coral might be better. Let's try a little bit of dark Calypso Coral. Let's do that on the neck and see what happens. Because you can use blends, oh, that's better, with classic ink, because classic ink is water-based. So if you ever do some stamping like that and you kind of go, but that just looks like I've stamped on the designer series paper, you can do that, and then it looks more mint. So that's that, and I think what we might do, ooh, I just had another thought. Ooh, in fact, I've had another thought. Let me grab, where did I put them? They were there. They were there. Oh, they are there. They're just hiding. So these are the sequins that go with the Playing with Patterns suite. They're self-adhesive and they don't have holes. So for any of you who are hole challenged, these are yours. Now, let me find the colours so that you know what colours they are. I have managed to bury my catalogue under all my stuff. So let's find, I still haven't finished doing this, embellishments. So number 5, oh, they're the Artistry Blooms. I was wrong. So they go with the Artistry Blooms suite. So it's Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Mango Melody and Rich Raspberry. Well, we've got Rich Raspberry and Calypso Coral in the suite that we're using, but I think the Coastal Cabana, whoops, is almost Pool Party on here. So I think oh, I've got one floating. Pop that back. I'm going to go Calypso Coral, not Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana. What am I talking about? So I'll just have a few. The only reason I use that one is because it had moved and it annoys me when it's moved. So that's that. But yes, I like these because sometimes you don't actually want a sequin with a hole in the middle of it. It kind of defeats the object of the exercise if you're not sewing it. I used to sew with sequins. I used to do a thing called tambour beading, where you fed the sequins, oops, that's come off its sticky spot. You would feed the beads, actually no, it's a spare. You string the beads on the beads or sequins on a string, and you attach them from the back. It's an interesting technique. I was actually reasonably good at it and quite enjoyed it, but yeah, things you get up to at fashion college. Right, okay, I think that actually ended up on the floor. Maybe not. Right, so that's the outside. We need an inside. And then I think we might look at what this week's prize is and also do the two things that I wanted to do. So let me grab the sentiments, and I think I'll just do thanks a ton, only because I haven't used it yet. So swap that out, and I'm going to go Pacific Point. I'm also going to pop that onto the block better. That's better. So thanks a ton, and clean that. And I think what I might actually do is I'm going to stamp that again, and this time I'm going to go Balmy Blue. Do I want it full strength or second generation? No, full strength. So that's that. Oh, and I've just had a thought for that as well. My brain is going now. Now that I've started, it's what happens when I start playing with a stamp set, my brain starts running. Actually, I think it's going to come out. Oh no, that looks a bit rude. Sorry. That's my dirty brain. So let me just grab that. So this is the light Balmy Blue. Oops, let's pull my blend to pieces, why don't I? Okay, I'll use the other end. So you could do Balmy Blue on top of Balmy Blue card, if you wanted, or indeed any colour onto any colour. Right, okay, so that needs to be adhered to that. Then I've got two things I need to do, and then we're done. Again, I think I might go liquid adhesive. And what I do like to just make sure is that there is, you know, some glue reasonably close to the edge. And then pop that on there, like that. So there you are, there's that card. So that's 3 cards we've made. Now, what I wanted to do before I put this away, and I'm going to fall on my sword on this for you. Well, actually, I'm not, because it's either going to work or it's not. And if it doesn't, then that's fine. And if it doesn't, it will be very obvious that it doesn't. Where's it gone? There we are. So this is the whale, and I'm wondering... It fits! So you could actually punch your whales out. And so it fits all of the bigger whales, certainly on that piece of paper, which is the reverse of that. There are other whales, so let's see. Because I know I saw... Right, that's that one again. I thought I saw another, yes, large whale. Is this going to be... I can't get into a... I think it might be, but I can't get in there. I'd have to cut into the paper. Oh, that one might work. Yeah, I think that would work. So you can punch your whales out with your whale punch. So if you want multicoloured whales, pre-coloured whales, that's the way to go. So that's a whale of a time. The other thing I just wanted to show you, because it arrived yesterday, is, and this is completely random, but I'm going to share it with you anyway, and then I'll show you the cards that we just made. One of my team has actually been using this a lot, and she makes the most amazing cards. If you see anything by Daryl or Sian Roughsedge, it's the same person, and she is amazing. She posts on Instagram, she posts on Facebook in various groups. I don't think she's got a website, but I must start talking to her about getting a website. She is an amazing talent. If you see any of her stuff, I would strongly, strongly recommend having a look. So this is the Boho Suite. So let's have a look. It's like a mini unboxing, but she's used this a lot. So we've got a huge reel of ribbon. So let me open that up. So this, I think they call frayed grosgrain. So it's almost velvety on the edge. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Thank you, Audrey, for sharing. This is gold, but it's like the Daffodil Delight ruched ribbon. So it's a mini version of the Rococo Rose ruched ribbon. Really pretty, really pretty. They don't put what the colours are on the wrapper, but from memory it's Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, White and Vanilla. So this is the stamp set, photopolymer, bigger than I expected it to be. Then we've got dies to match. We've got a bunch of birthday love to you, such happy news, sorry you're feeling blue, and thank you. And it can be used with all sorts of other florals, but it's got some nice florals there. And we've got prongs. Right, so that is that. That is that, and that are those two. That is that one, and then we've got other bits to use as well. That is that, and that is that. So there's some that are, so all of these, apart from that and that, so most of these have dies, and then there are some extra dies as well. Ooh, and these are embossing dies, so they cut and emboss. So that's the dies. Lovely. And I haven't forgotten we've got to do the prize for this week either. My desk, which was so beautifully tidied, is no longer. Now you can get a refill. The refill is basically this. So it's the paper pack and the flowers and the bits that are in with the paper pack. So if you run out of paper, you can just get a refill. At the moment in Europe it is out of stock. I think some people have just been using it rather than getting the whole medley. So you've got, these are like, it's sort of like thinnish felt with a bead. And the beads are kind of Sahara sand-ish. Let's see what the colours are claiming to be. I think I got it right. Pum, pum, pum. Colours are garden green, gold, misty moonlight, night of navy, very vanilla and white. Okay, so there's some garden green tucked in here somewhere. So let's have a look at the papers. Okay, so they've popped die cuts between each of the different patterns. So let's separate those out. And we'll look at those in a moment. So it looks like you've got, that one is irritating me. Why is that different? I think they've got it though. I'm happy now. How sad is that? See, it looks better now. So I think one side is vanilla and one side is white. Looks like it. So we've got that with that on the back. This with that on the back. Actually, no, this is vanilla. So there is some white and some vanilla. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Very pretty. So fantastic. This would also go with, I suppose I should say, methinks, the denim ribbon. That works. So yes, if you've got the denim ribbon from was it in the spring catalogue or was it in the last annual? Anyway, there's denim ribbon would go with this as well. And then we've got embossed pieces, as in dry embossed. So we've got 2 with this pattern on. Thank you, Karen. Sorry, Anne, I'm an enabler. This is lovely kind of floral. Diamonds. And then the die cuts. So, gold foiling. Ah, this is where the garden green comes in. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Makes sense, of course, that the greenery is green. So yes, lots of lovely, lovely die cuts as well. So that is the Boho Indigo Suite. Indigo Boho, Boho Indigo Suite. Kit, medley, product medley. That's the phrase I'm looking for. Really pretty. I think I am going to separate out the paper though and keep that as paper, because as you can buy it as a separate item, as a refill with the flowers, I think it should be, I should treat it like it's separate. And you get the die cuts and the dry embossed pieces in the refill kit as well. So you don't get the stamps and the dies, and you don't get the ribbon in the refill kit. So this is only for the original medley. But as I say, the denim goes really nicely. So I don't think that's an issue. So that was that I thought I would show you. And it's time to talk prizes. So we know that Jane has won that. I will do a refresh of the cards in a moment as well. We are now past 12, so I can also talk to you about the spot challenge. This is my inspiration piece for the spot challenge this week, and it's a colour challenge, and it's crumb cake, flirty flamingo, pear pizzazz, mint macaron, and rich raspberry, and this is what I've come up with, and I've just stamped a little bit on the inside as well. This vellum is coloured with the dark flirty flamingo blend, and these are just, let me see if I can catch the light. Those are the elegant faceted gems. It's just, they are see-through, so it picks up whatever colour you put it on. Just beautiful. There's clear, white iridescent and petal pink, so only some of them are clear. Right, so the prize for this week is the Rise and Shine stamp set from Celebration. It's a reversible set, so the mugs reverse, and so do some of the florally bits. So that is this week's prize, so we'll draw that in 2 weeks. So that will be drawn in the first week of July. And in the first week of July, those of us who are demonstrators will be ordering our autumn-winter catalogue pre-order at a discount because we can. Thank you very much indeed. Do remember, if you share, put shared in the comments, you will be entered to win this, and you can do that both on Facebook and on YouTube replay. If you do both, you get entered twice. So do think about doing both, and do put the shared, because then it's easier for me to pick up. And I'm now going to tidy my desk again for the second time this week, because it looks like a bomb has landed. So thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully next week we can go all the way through without a hesitation. You never know. Anyway, have a fantastic week. Try to, if you're in the UK and you're about to get this heat wave, keep well hydrated. You may need to shut curtains in the morning to keep it cool inside. So keep ventilated, keep hydrated, keep cool, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much indeed, and I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!